Welcome to Museful Creations, where imagination comes to life. Hey friends, welcome back to Museful Creations. Today's episode is a bit different, more reflective, more layered, and definitely a little bit longer than my usual uploads. This wasn't a 3-minute make. It literally took almost 24 hours, and every step felt purposeful. What you're about to see is a full journey behind this anchored in grace journal page, a make that began with a whisper in my spirit and turned into something more powerful than I could have planned. So make sure to hit subscribe and the bell if you love faith-based, infused, intentional creating, and I'd love to have you on this journey. This section is sped up, but I'll guide you through what I created from the base, which is what you're actually seeing right now, to adding the touches like the cross, the eagle wings, and eventually an anchor as well, as you'll see shortly. But every piece has meaning. You'll also see the moment where I will be writing something really personal and deep in terms of what it means to me for this project. And I kept that part silent on purpose, you'll see, to just let the weight of the words speak for themselves. Now I'm taking the tuck spot kind of pockets, if you will, and I'm showing you how I created a little hinge. Depending on, again, the size of your page, you're going to need to cut 4 of the panels that I'm calling cascading panels so that you can have a larger one, a kind of in between, then a medium and a small one. And it's also could be considered a waterfall, if you will. And I'm scoring each of them at a 1/2 inch on the top. And then you're going to glue the 4 panels back to back on top of each other, and you'll want to allow each panel to dry. It's super important to keep that in mind. And I would, before I do all the gluing, if you're a distressor like me, I would do all the distressing and also rounding the corners, and I did back the pages as well. Next is the front flap, and you want to pay close attention to how I put this together. And yes, I did print on both sides of my paper. And what you want to do here so that the flap over the page works, you want to first use that hinge on the top and just apply glue as I'm showing you. Don't apply it on the exact fold because you won't be able to have that back and forth motion, and you'll see in just a second. Next, what you're going to do is, in order to add the uh, tucks pockets, if you will, um, you'll have to attach them to that front panel. So you see how I am trying to assemble this? It's very different. I don't know, it's just my way of doing it, but I found it super easy to do it this way. Now we're going to add the back pocket on the second, or the back part, if you will, of this flip over the page that I've created. And super easy, as I'm showing you there, I glued it on the back page. Then I used my extra accounting ledger paper to make that little file folder, if you will. And now I'm showing you the embellishments that I plan to add on those pockets. And now we're going to work on the front cover that will attach to the second panel. And here is an example of the little hinge that I made. And all the hinges are between 1 inch to a 1/2 inch. And I just, score them in the middle. And now and I'm showing you just exactly where I'm adding that hinge. Before I attach that to the second panel, I'm showing you how I'm going to use this whale tail tab where I glue it and not all the way. And that's really important if you're following along and you wish to create the same. Now we're going to glue the front cover to that second panel, and I'm showing you just where exactly you want to put the glue, not too much, not too little, and of course add a little embellishment if you would like. And here is where I'm going to tuck my poem, and that's why you want it to keep a little bit of space on your whale tab and not glue it all the way. And look how lovely it looks over your journal page in your junk journal. I think that turned out super nice. And next we're going to work on the shaker medallions, slide cameos. You're going to need a couple of circle die cuts, and I've had these in my stash who knows how long, and you'll probably need the one that is about, I want to say 3/4 of an inch, and another one that is almost a 1/2 inch. If you have a paper puncher, that would be even better, but these are the two sizes that I used, and what I did is I nested the smaller 1/2 inch circle within the 1 inch circle, and also reduce the size of the printable to fit your need in terms of what you have for circles. Of course, you're going to cut out your shaker medallion slide cameo. It comes in a heart, a cross, a dove or eagle wings, and the anchor. And then another sheet has all these adorable mini emblems that you can use. Your 1/4 inch, I think, or a little smaller than that paper puncher and circle paper. So what you're going to want to do is the following. You're going to, of course, cut out whichever one you wish to use. And I want to show you the different styles that come on the sheet. And what I did is I added two panels on each, on the 8.5 by 11 so that you get plenty of these little circles. And then you're going to want to cut. I'm using double-sided black foam. It's up to you which you prefer to use. And what you're going to want to do first is cut one of these, okay? And you're going to do it like so. How I did it. You could do it this way, or you could do it this way, okay? And you're going to cut one of the double-sided regular foam. I just find it easier to use the double-sided because it's glued on the foam. It tends to spread and it gets a little tricky. So you want to do one of these, and then you're going to do the same stacking, okay? Circle the small circle, and then you're going to cut two. I do two. I layer 2 pieces of paper on this ledger paper, which will be part of the kit. And what you do is then distress the edges. I just wanted easy to glue or 2 pieces of scrap paper together and then punch and then die cut it out. Okay? And then the other piece that you're going to cut, which is really important, is you want to cut the actual transparency for acetate. Okay? And then final piece, actual backing. And I use the largest circle. Okay? So it's of 1, 2, 3. And then what you're going to do, I have some extras here because I was playing around and trying to figure things out. And I just peel the backing, okay, just like so. And I layer it right on the double-sided, the adhesive foam, and I just back it up like so to that black circle. Now, what I want to do is choose my emblem, and I want the cross. I'm going to place it right in the middle, like so. And then I'm going to use Oldie But Goodie Metallic Jade Glass Beads by Judy Kins. And what I want to do is just scoop some of these inside, like so. Okay, just like that. Do my fingernail. They do come in handy. And then you're going to do, and this is where you have to decide which glue you prefer to use. I actually, for this part here, I want to use the art glitter, and I'm going to put this down so I can have a little bit of leverage. And what I want to do is apply the glue closer to the edge, of the circle. Don't do it closer to the open part of the circle because it will smudge a ton and then the beads will stick to it. Okay? You want to do it like so, and then you want to place this acetate like so. Move it over just a little bit. And I don't want to move it too much, but there that way you can see what I'm trying to achieve. And you see how some of the glue is trying to go towards the open circle because I applied too much glue. So I find that the 3-in-1 will just spew out, and I don't want that to be the case. Now I want to use the last piece. I want to be careful again as to how much glue I want to put. I want to do edges just like so. And then I want to just place it lightly. That, and there is shaker. And now I backed my eagle wings or dove wings, if you will. And what I want to do now is for this part, I do want to use my 3-in-1 because I want to be able to shift this a little bit in case I don't want it where I plan to place it. And place this just like that right in the middle. I don't want to press in the middle because if I do, I'm concerned that the acetate will put right through and all the beads will start to kind of spill over. So it's kind of still shifting. I'll let that sit like so, but I want to show you how easy that was. That I don't want to move too much because I'm trying to, okay, that. And then my intentions are to put this, once it fully dries, I want to put it on the back of this um, journaling tab that I created. And then to show you what I've done here is I want the cross, I plan to put it like so. Okay. This journal page wasn't just about layering paper, it was about quiet moments, creative pivots, and leaning into the process without rushing. The poem I included and the quiet I am carried came from the same place of stillness. Thank you so much for joining me today. The full Anchored in Grace printable kit is available on Ko-Fi. And if you'd like to create something similar, let me know in the comments what part of this spoke to you most. What's anchoring you in this season? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, take care.